going? Well, you're joining us on a late October afternoon after what has been a pretty awesome day of fishing, to be honest. This is our second session in this spot. This is it's a spot we're not disclosing. It's part of our secret swim. It's actually a pretty big area that we fish here, and we just kind of move around within it to not make any one spot a serious trap. So we thought, we kind of got behind with uploading videos. We've been really busy trying to finish up some of the others. As you would have already seen, our September edition of the 12 months of carp actually had to be split up into two parts. It was over 3 hours long. And, September was very kind to us and so much fun. So we had almost a full month with no videos uploading. But now we're getting back into things. We're trying to enjoy some of our own fishing. October has been incredibly kind as well. We crushed our October video in one weekend. We spent a whole weekend doing it, and it was a weekend I will never forget. I'm sure Goldie will never forget it either. But since then, you know what? We wanted to enjoy some of our personal fishing, so we've come down to our secret spot and shared it with a few friends. Starting off actually a week ago today. So last weekend, Goldie and I came down here. We had plans to have a little bit of company. Demir was to arrive, and our good friend Dave from over at Monster Carp Tackle was to come and join us. So myself, Goldie, and Dave started off just before first light. We got all set up. We had been pre-baiting the spot. We really knew that the fish would move through here, but we had no idea what we were in for. And it was carnage. Fish after fish, double header after double header, and triple header after triple header. We're just going to throw some photos up. We had some amazing fish, but we had some 20s come out. We had a lot of mid doubles, some little guys that, it got to the point where we weren't even bringing fish up to the mat. We were just unhooking them and letting them go in the net. It really was that crazy. Just because we only had two nets going between the three of us, and one would be out while one person was with a fish on the mat, another person would just scoop theirs, unhook it, and then we had somebody waiting still. So it was just carnage, but it was so much fun. Myself, I ended up with 13 fish coming in. Nothing to the 20-pound range for myself, but all quality fish from about 6 pounds to, I think my biggest was just over 18. And Goldie, we lost count. Goldie smashed it, absolutely smashed it. Dave did great. Dave actually almost lost his rod. He had a hell of a run, and him and I both went towards it, and we noticed that the pod had fallen over. The rod was starting to go a little bit further. So I sprinted a little bit harder and got up ahead of him and got my hands to the rod just as it jumped up off the pod and was ready for a swim. And it almost took me with it. I tried to hand it off to Dave. He wouldn't take it. He ended up letting me play that fish on the center pin. Beautiful fish. It was really nice. And, Dave had a number of fish himself. So it really went incredibly well. An amazing session. Topped off with Mr. Goldie. Oh, I think that was a liner. Yeah, Mr. Goldie here of Goldie's Fishing Adventures. He had to one-up Dave and I. And, he got a beast. 29 pounds, 3 ounces. An absolute Goliath of a belly on that fish. He handled it incredibly well. That 9-foot rod just steered it around exactly where he needed it. Shortly after that, Dave had left for the day, and we got into some really bad weather, some 80 to 90 kilometer an hour winds, some heavy rains, and Demir hadn't made it down early. He had spent some time with his brother the night before, catching up, and just didn't make it out for the fishing in the morning. But he did come down for lunch, so we cooked up some lunch, thanks to him. And even through that horrible weather, while the three of us are trying to hold the brawly, from folding in on itself, which it did multiple times, we still managed to get bites, and Demir was able to actually land a couple of fish on Goldie's line while he was here. I don't think he actually held the fish because he was in his, nice proper clothes, not his fishing gear. But quality fish all the same. He had a great time as well, and it was great to finally catch up with him after a while. We hadn't seen him in a fair bit of time. So, yeah, last weekend was just an incredible session. Like I said, fish after fish, all quality, a lot of fun, and then Goldie taking the almost 30. So, fast forward through the week a little bit. We kept baiting this spot. We had a different plan for this week. We were meant to do a bit of a tutorial for some other anglers, new anglers, and unfortunately their schedule did change and they weren't able to make it out, but we will do a session with them soon. So having baited up the spot, had all the gear ready, what else are we going to do? We're going to come back to this spot. It was ready to rock, and this time Goldie and I came right out to here where we had been baiting up, and Kevin joined us, but Kevin stayed upriver. Not quite sure why. We told him, hey, we're going to be on our own, come out and join us. But he had been baiting up himself back there in swim 2. So he kind of wanted to stick with what his game plan was, and that's fine. But we kept in contact through texting, and he had missed, I think, 5 or 6 fish before we even had our first bite. And then he lost 1 or 2 fish by the time we had our first bite. By the time we had our second fish, we realized that we were in... Oh, excuse me. Well, now, it was interrupted there by this beautiful mid-double. This is about our average with, I guess this is the low end of our average. We've had a lot of high doubles. I think we're now up to 6 or 7 20s. And we're going to get into detail about that when I get back to my chair. There we go. This fish has probably got the tiniest mouth out of anything that we've caught today.
I think part of his lure.
Yeah, this part of his tail, but it's got a lot of red to it. It's really nice. Beautiful fish. Let me get this fish back, and we'll continue talking about how this session's gone. That was fun. It's always the kind of interruption you're hoping for. I'm back fishing my close spot. We'll talk a little bit more about what I've been doing shortly. But I left off somewhere around talking about how Kevin was in a swim just down from us, and got to the point where he had 3 and lost several. And this is still 8:30 in the morning, and Goldie and I think, by about 8:30 we were already up to 6 fish, and 3 of them were 20s. So at this point, I couldn't help myself. I messaged Kevin and I said, just how many 20s do we have to catch before you come down here and fish with us? And within seconds, he didn't even carry all his gear. He booked it down here, just in time to see us with a double header, a 20 and a mid double in the cradle at the same time. It was awesome. Another morning of just carnage. And it's really interesting because the weather conditions are completely different this week. Last week it was rainy, it was super windy, and the wind was coming right in our face across the river. This week, it's been coming actually from downriver all the way up, kind of from our left, and it's been very, very light, maybe 10 to 15 kilometers an hour at best when it gusted. But for the most part, it's been like glass calm like it is now. It's just been really sunny today. So it was interesting to see, as soon as Kevin got over here and set up, I think he cut us off. I think, he baited up his little spot, added his mix to what we've already been putting out. He got his hook bait out there, and the bugger started catching, and Goldie and I stopped. It just shut down for us. So we figured the fish had to have been coming up from that direction. We thought they were coming in from both ways, but no, I guess they were coming up from downriver, and he proceeded to get, I think, 4 or 5, just bang, 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 pretty steady, and just shut us down. So we actually fished together, all 3 of us down here, Goldie and I getting the odd one, for about 3 hours, continuing to nail really quality fish, but mostly to Kevin. And at this point, it's really hot. It's midday. I didn't sleep last night, so I've been pretty tired. I'm starting to doze in my chair a bit. And, it came to the end of Kevin's session, and I think by the end of it, he had, I think, 8 or 9 fish. Goldie and I were at, I think, 6 and 5. I think 6 for me, 5 for him at that point. All quality fish, but we had gotten into some small ones. As Kevin was cutting us off, he got himself a nice big 20. What was that one? 23 and change? And a really nice brood of a fish he got there. But while he was getting those better fish, we were getting the few that we had over here were much smaller. Ones that we were, like I said before, just like last weekend, letting them go right at the net. We weren't even bringing them up to the sling.
That's not true.
Oh, no, that's right. I had one. It was a really tiny one, but it was a really beautiful one. Big tail, big fins on this tiny, tiny carp. We got some nice photos of that one, actually. Forgot about that one. Thanks for reminding me. But yeah, Kevin ended up packing up at that point, and we just kind of settled in to deal with the heat of the afternoon. We brewed up some soup and just kicked back. And actually, as Goldie walked Kevin back to his truck, helped him carry his gear. Quiet down over there. Goldie helped Kevin carry his gear back out to his truck, and while they were walking back, I wasn't cut off anymore, and I nailed a beautiful 17-pounder. But that was it for just over an hour. Goldie come back, we did the photos of that fish, let it go, and we sat here in the heat for an hour. Again, just mowing down on some soup, keeping up with the water, trying to stay hydrated in the heat. For so late in October, it was like 25 degrees today. It was absolutely cooking. Now it's beautiful. It's perfect temperature. We've got some clouds rolling in, but in the dead heat of midday, nothing was happening. There was barely any fish rising. And so with Kevin gone, Goldie had moved his line slightly left. So I did the same. I think I actually cast over Goldie and was fishing a little bit more of Kevin's water than he was. While we were sitting there, nothing happening, my rod tip just gave a little knock. No beep to the alarm, no movement of the bobbin, and then another little knock. The line went a little bit slack. So I walked over, I picked up the rod, I started to tighten down to it, and I kind of turned myself sideways and pointed down to where the line was going in the water, reeled down to it and felt another. I was thinking, oh, maybe it's a catfish or just a small fish. And so I lifted into the fish because it hadn't set it itself. another big boil over there. I lifted into this fish, and you would have thought I hooked the bottom. I lifted in, and that rod didn't move. It just doubled over, and a very slow, hard, pulsing fight began. That fish didn't really take any big runs, but it just kept going back and forth and staying deep in front of us. And it was really hard to judge. We knew we had something on that was of good size, most likely over 20 pounds. But, you know, here it's hard to judge. You see a big fish in the water, it looks really small. A lot of times we're not even getting an idea of what size it is until it's in the net. But wow, after a good 10-minute battle, you know, it was a strong fish. You know, it's coming up close to the net. I can see it's big, and I'm thinking 20, 22. Gets a little bit closer to the net. I go, oh no, that might go 25. Get it in the net, and I told Goldie, you know what, that looks like it's maybe 25. It's a good quality fish, but it's not as big as I maybe originally thought it could have been. And he told me I was wrong. What were your words? I think it's bigger than you think it is. Yeah.
Basically what we say every time we do it.
Yeah, he had the better look. I was up on the embankment still. He was right down there, and he was sure that it was bigger than 25. But I just couldn't tell from that angle. And because it was a larger fish, we took the retention sling, put it under the net, and Goldie carried it up in that. And when he got it up on the embankment, we both grabbed a handle, and I could feel there was more weight to it. But I thought maybe there was more water in the sling. And we got it over here to the cradle. And just as we slowly opened that weigh sling, what a monster, an absolute monster. And you know, after seeing Goldie's 29 last weekend, to see one like this again, I was thinking, could it be 30? You know, could it be? Quiet down over there. Crazy four-wheelers.
Come on, dude.
I think he did that on purpose. But yeah, this fish was just massive, and it took up the entire cradle. So as we're looking at this fish, we're like, 30? Could it go more than 30? It was just so big. So we got it weighed, and it come in at 30 pound 13 ounces. My third 30 of 2017. Just an absolute beast. And I was super stoked. It was wonderful, you know, for 2 weeks in a row for us to get, you know, a 29 and a 30 out of this spot with so many other quality fish. It's just been incredible, and you know, it stayed slow for a little while after that, but it started to pick up. We got a few more fish. Funny enough, actually turned out to be 20s. So I think we're somewhere around 5 or 6 20s now for the day. That 30. Tons of doubles, high doubles, and a few small ones thrown in. But it was really low kind of percentage per hour, like 2 or 3 an hour tops. So I wanted to try something different. You know, Goldie's been experimenting with his rigs all day, trying maze, trying pop-ups. You know, the first few fish he had were on a 6-inch zig. That, you know, I had no idea he was doing that, sneaky bugger. So I thought I would get a little practice with my casting, and I actually started trying to cast the far margin, got an idea of a distance. I wrapped it up with the distance sticks and started spotting over there to a distance of 94 yards. So almost to the far bank. You know, we've been watching fish rise there all day. You know, when they're not over here, they've been rising over there. So I was blown away. I could actually get the spot over there multiple times. I put about 6 or 7 spots over there. And yeah, then I threw the rig over, fished it just shy of the bait. And it wasn't even 10 minutes later, the rod just peeled off. And yeah, fishing at 94 yards, I managed to get myself another 17-pounder. A beautiful fish. So yeah, that was really exciting, and I kept fishing at range for a little while, but other than a few knocks and bumps, I didn't get another take over there, and they stopped rising really. But we've seen they're coming up over there again over the last little while. It's still slow over here. It's glass calm. We're still rising over there. We're starting to get a few more rising just down from Goldie. But yeah, there's the update of what we've been up to and how it's been going for us lately. We're having an amazing month so far. And yeah, the fish may be a little bit shy and a little bit more wary, but they're still really high quality fish, really clean looking fish. It looks like they're very healthy, and they're fighting so hard. So yeah, we've got maybe 2 hours left of the session. It's getting into the evening. We're getting the light dropping nicely, so we're hoping that some more fish come along. I think if I heard you right, you're going to a pop-up again?
Yes, I am doing the Northern Special.
Oh, the horrible bait. That's right. The bait that works for everybody except me. Well, I just had a liner there, but I'm really debating going back to range with how many fish have risen over there.
You just have to compete with the geese now.
Yeah, the geese are over there right now. So, but anyways, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to kick back and enjoy the rest of our session. If we get anything, really spectacular, we'll either throw the photos up or maybe a small video piece. But yeah, there's the update. We've been having a lot of fun enjoying some personal fishing and sharing it with friends. And I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to come back here next weekend. Although the weather's supposed to turn, they're actually expecting snow to come. So wouldn't that be something? Summer weather this week, winter weather next week. Hopefully the fish are still feeding. You're overdue. You should be getting a bite. Yeah, switch to your pop-up.
I did.
Oh, you already switched?
Yeah, that's what I was making all the noise about.
Oh, I thought you just did a recast.
Nope.
Shows how much I pay attention.
Talking to a camera.
I think I need to put on the kettle. And it's brew time. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave the fish at range. I'm going to pull the distance sticks. I'm just going to fish close for the next little while. All of our biggest fish have come close, and there are so many big fish rising just down from us where Dave fished last week. I think I'm going to cross your line again.
My line's not doing anything anyway.
Oh well, let's get back to fishing. Oh! That's right to the right of me. That was a big fish.